Chapter 9, The Day the Witch Revived. I mean, sorry I have to interject, but I kind of want to help guide or lead at least some of the thought process, even though I can't really understand how to solve the epitaph myself. I kind of get it when you kind of think about it or whatever. Hold on. Okay. Cause like, just but yeah. And also, this is where like Kinzo like takes like from different languages, and damn. Anyway, quadrillion. There's only one place where you'll find that word on Rokenjima. Gold butterflies floated from shadow to shadow, dodging raindrops. Unless my memory is mistaken, this is probably the place. It was the chapel. That mysterious building, one of the oldest on Rokenjima, which was built at the same time as the mansion. Haha, see? And remember, in episode 2, if Battler could read it, he would have gotten it. But he struggled reading it, and Maria made fun of him for it. Like, the only reason why I'm saying that, because you can't even solve the epitaph anyway, so this is the only time I'll just say, this is when that happened. I know I said I wouldn't mention, like the read-throughs, but, like, things that you could reread and see for yourself. But, I'll say this one, because this is, you can't really solve the epitaph like that anyway, so... whatever. It was called the chapel, but not once had Kinzo used it for worship, and all the members of the family had never been allowed inside. There were strict orders that none approach it without reason, and its purpose has always been a mystery. But the servants got to be near it. However, all these mysteries got boring after several decades. At some point, everyone forgot the chapel even existed, and that splendid building passed from the thoughts of Rokenjima's residents. Of course, this had been true for Beato as well. Beato, who hated boredom, had no desire to approach places that humans never went. Her last memory was the time she went in there to taunt Shannon as she tried to clean. There can be no doubt that this is it, quadrillion. Beato looked up above the door of the chapel. There was a relief displayed over an arc. English words were written there. You will be blessed only at the probability of a quadrillion to 1. Balor was struggling to read that one. So you thought that the probability of someone solving this riddle. Wait. You will be blessed only at the probability of a quadrillion to 1. So you thought that that was the probability of someone solving this riddle. The chapel was built long ago. If there is a device like the one I imagined, Kinzo must have been prepared that epitaph riddle many decades ago. He must have been planning to use it as a ceremony for choosing a fitting successor all the time. However, that ceremony is not a ceremony to open the door to the Golden Land and to my resurrection. When I snapped my fingers, the ground bulged, and several snake-like dead trees sprouted up. They twisted around each other to form a ladder which leaned itself against the door. If my guess is right, there's some sort of device in that relief. I slowly climbed the ladder. Because of the size of the door, the relief was very high up. This close up, it looks much bigger than it did from the ground. Come to think of it, whenever we cleaned the chapel, this relief was the only thing that Genji always made sure he polished himself. always wondered why he didn't leave something so trivial to the younger servants. I thought it was strange, but nothing more. The master treasured this relief, so the head servant cared for it himself. I always accepted that excuse. But now I understand. There must be something in this relief, and Genji polished it himself to make sure that no one else accidentally found out. So I am to sacrifice the 6 letters chosen by the key from quadrillion. The tips of my fingers touched the cue. My fingertips were soon covered with dust. However, I quickly realized there was something strange about it. Don't tell me this letter. No, it had to be like this. There would be no other way to offer up sacrifices. Beta grabbed the letter Q, and after playing around with it lightly in various ways, she pulled it out with a slight clunk. Just as I thought. Here's the Q I pulled out. And this part's a wedge. No, it's a key. A key was attached to the back of the Q and had been stuck into the keyhole in the relief. I see. In that case, I know what to do next. Very good. This Q key is a wrong answer. Enough with you. Beto carelessly tossed the Q key aside. This is the first sacrifice. She kept on pulling out keys for the second 6 letters representing the key. So A will also be sacrificed, and both I's, and that's with the N at the end. Now I only sacrificed 1 L, but unfortunately, there are 2 L's here. There were 2 L's. If I didn't know which I should sacrifice, I tried pulling both out, but the keys were of different shapes. So one is the right answer and one is the wrong answer. Well, there are only 2. If I make a mistake, I can just try the other one. Unless messing up sets off a trap that blows up the island, of course. Thinking it was a waste of time to sit here worrying, I decided the rightmost L and pulled it out. 5 letters remained in the word. And now the first twilight is over. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. The D and R are close. What does it mean to tear them apart? Do I pull them out? But if I do, there will only be 3 letters left. By this point, I was able to make a good guess of what the word gouge and kill lines meant. Gouge and kill probably means to turn the keys and take them out. In that case, the parts about going from head to leg must mean starting at the left and going right. If that's the case, there must be 5 characters left on the board. In other words, tear apart doesn't mean to kill. So, we can read tear apart to mean putting a gap between the D and the R. But how? Once again, there are 2 ways to do it. Do I remove the D and move it to the left? Do I remove the R and move it to the right? After pondering this for some time, I realized both choices were wrong. No, it's not right. I've had it wrong ever since I removed the L. A short while ago, I removed the right of the 2 L's. However, if I remove the left one, it would look like this. If you line it up this way, it's easy to see the next step. The R gets shifted to the right. This way, all the letters are spread out evenly. This must be it. And this next part is another tough one. Praise my name. It's already clear that this is a word game. However, those shall praise my noble name. Just what are the remaining 5 letters supposed to do? Probably change their order to form a word. U-D-R-L-O. What should be done about these 5 letters? Praise my name. How can I get stuck after coming so far? How are these 5 letters supposed to praise a name? That man's name is Ushiromiya Kinzo. Is the U part of Ushiromiya? No. Several characters don't match. There aren't nearly enough letters to make Ushiromiya. One thing is certain, my name must refer to Kinzo. Then does the U stand for Ushiromiya after all? Like an initial. Then what to do with the D?
Seriously? Who the hell moved it like that?
Let's try it again. One thing is certain, my name must refer to Kinzo. Then does the U stand for Ushiromiya after all, like an initial? Then what to do the D, L, R, and O stand for? They can't mean Kinzo. Do the R, O, and O stand for Rokenjima? The master of Rokenjima Kinzo. Not nearly enough letters. This riddle left me totally confused. However, there were only 5 letters left. There can't be too many possible combinations of those letters. I could use the process of elimination. Thinking I played around with it, I pulled out the U. There were 4 letters left. D, L, R, and O. My idea that the U stood for the Ushiromiya was like a heavenly oracle. When I removed the U, I thought of making it work with the remaining 4 letters. D, L, R, and O. D, R, L, and O. Those 4 letters spun around in my head, changing their orders, and latched upon a single English word that would serve to praise Kinzo. It's Lord! Lord! I had absolutely no basis for it. However, it was like a flash of inspiration. I quickly changed the letters around before that flash faded from my mind. See? Completely narcissistic. L-O-R-D. Lord. Lord you. Ushiromiya. Lord Ushiromiya. On the 4th twilight gouged the head. It was a key, so it wouldn't have turned if it was the wrong one. But it did turn. I managed to gouge it. I gouged the first letter, the L with a click, and then pulled it out. Next is the 5th twilight. Gouge the chest and kill. The O was gouged and pulled out easily. Then the R. The next the D. And finally the U. Completely narcissistic. Way to go, calling yourself basically God Ushiromiya. When I turned the key of the U, I could feel resistance as though some device had been activated. I waited for something to change, but nothing did. However, I felt something happen. A secret door must have opened up somewhere around here. Waiting around won't accomplish anything. I've probably done everything I can here. All the letters in quadrillion have been removed. On the 9th twilight the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. So this way has the witch have I revived. The 10th twilight. At journey's end you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. I stepped down off the ladder and looked around. I immediately noticed a small change. That lion statue! At some point, the lion statue in front of the chapel had turned to face a different direction. How'd that work? Did Kinzo plan this extravagant device back to when he first started building on the island? I walked up to the lion statue and stared at it. Other than the fact that it was pointing a different direction, nothing had changed. In that case, is the lion looking at something in particular now? I followed its line of sight and saw another lion statue. That lion statue also changed its direction.
Oh, by the way, I want to pause. Notice how Leon is also named Leon? But you pronounce it lion. But it's lion, but like Leon. But, anyway, another thing. I kind of feel like maybe this might be a reach, but I feel like also, in a sense, maybe it's kind of like on another one of the influences of Kinzo living in Taiwan, in a sense, because I don't know, it might be stupid. Discount it if it's false, but you know how like some Chinese people will put like the decorations of 2 tigers, see, like tigers, lions. See, it's kind of a reach. You can see, but like they'll do that. And they'll put usually 1 male and 1 female holding a ball. I feel like he kind of got that from there, but I know it's kind of bullshit, so yeah, it's a reach. But I kind of want, but you know, I would think that Kinzo would think that because he's just like, because that's where he grew up around. Anyway, let's continue. Sorry if my reach is bullshit, so anyway.
Interesting. So, follow the line guideposts. As intricate as ever. I see, Kinzo. I wasn't complaining anymore. I felt a bit of respect and awe at Kinzo for setting up such an intricate device and having it go undiscovered for all these years.
There were lion statues standing like guardian deities at the entrance and the corners of the chapel. The direction they faced had changed, pointing around to the back of the chapel. There was something there. Huh. It was no longer a surprise. This was after the contraption with the letters, after being guided by the lions. So when a gaping open secret passageway appeared with stairs leading down to the darkness below, it wasn't surprising to me anymore. So this is the entrance to the Golden Land, Kinzo.
Did you find it? Grandfather's gold?
Yes. It took ages and ages, but I had reached the Golden Land.
According to the previous games, there was an underground VIP room there, along with 10 tons of gold, right?
Yes. After going down a rough stairway, there was a door at the end of the passage. Inside, it was a beautifully furnished, a true VIP room.
And was the gold all you found there?
Yes, at the time. It would be a lie to say that I was not dizzy by the sight of all that gold stacked up high.
Okay, I have to say that I'm gonna try to hold in my temper because it's just, this scene is just screwed up to me. Okay, I'm gonna try to hold in my emotion, but I have no promises. Because this is, to me, this is one of the most upsetting scenes. So, anyway.
Is this real? I lightly touched the pile of gold with my finger. It was hard and cold. I must have imagined that it would crumble like a sandcastle if I touched it. Now there could be no doubt. It certainly was a 10-ton pile of gold ingots. Considering the amount of gold I had just found, I figure I ought to be crying out in delight. I didn't really feel like laughing, but I thought it was only good manners to do so in a situation like this, so I forced it out. Because of this, only a few feeble laughs slipped from my mouth. At that moment, even stronger than any delight was a feeling as though I'd entered a place I wasn't supposed to be. I couldn't think of what I should do next, now that the epitaph's riddle had been completed. Then I heard approaching footsteps. It was coming from the stairway I had entered by. Someone was coming. Could it be Kinzo? If he finds I've been hiding in a place like this, will I get scolded harshly? I thought about hiding and forgetting this ever happened, but my legs wouldn't move. I kept standing there stunned in front of the pile of gold. As the footsteps drew closer and closer, the door opened and I saw who it was. It wasn't Kinzo. You. Did you reach this place by your power alone? Indeed.
For some time, Genji stared at Beato in silence as though he was calculating something. And he slowly clapped his hands together. He did it again over and over. It took quite a long time before I realized he was applauding me.
The master has said that he will hand over the gold and the headship to the first person who solves the epitaph, and he believed that this person would be Beatrice.
Beatrice?
Me? This is fate. It is fate that brought you to this day. I didn't really understand what Genji was saying. Surely the shock of seeing this gold still had me paralyzed. Come this way. Okay. Genji opened a closet. Inside was a torso wearing a beautiful dress made of black cloth and golden stitching. When I saw it, I understood immediately. It was the witch's dress, the black dress worn by Beatrice in the portrait. Change into this. It is something you once wore. I never worn a dress like this. However, I understood what Genji meant. This dress was the one Beatrice once wore, and the one who displays a miracle by solving the epitaph is Beatrice. By reaching this room, I succeeded the position of the real Beatrice, the one in the portrait. Why do I call myself Beatrice? Because of the name of the Golden Witch who rules over Rokkenjima's night is Beatrice. That's right. I wasn't the real Beatrice. I was a different witch stealing the name of a witch from Kinzo's delusions. And now I've succeeded the real Beatrice. By solving the epitaph's riddle, my resurrection will be complete. I was the one who decided on that rule. However, this really was a ceremony to resurrect Beatrice. In the past, I believed I could create my own fate with my magic. How ironic that the one who would control magic at will would be guided by fate to this place. At that moment, I had no choice but to truly accept and believe in this world called fate. And after I put this on, you will go to the master. Ready yourself. Oh, God. Wait here. Oh, okay. Master, it is Genji. After Genji knocked, the sound of the study's door unlocking could be heard. After a single glance telling me to wait, Genji entered alone. I cannot believe this day has come. Fate can be such a strange thing. Kumasawa was with us too. I thought this dress, which didn't really suit me, would lead to a lot of jokes, but she didn't laugh at me at all. On the contrary, when she saw me, her expression had turned stern, as though a long-awaited day had finally come. My heart raced. Supposedly anyone should have been able to solve the epitaph. There shouldn't have been anything strange about me solving it. Genji and the others kept wearing serious expressions, and that, along with everything else, made this feel like some sort of grand ceremony. The suffocating silence continued. Eventually the door opened and Genji peeked out. Enter, Beatrice. He was saying those words to me, but not to the person I had been until a short while ago. Go ahead, Beatrice. Kumasawa also urged me forward with a respectful bow. Kinzo was probably waiting for me inside. What expression should I wear as I go in? How should I greet him? I don't have a clue. As the two of them motioned me forward, it was all I could do to avoid tripping over my dress as I walked. Kinzo, she is here. Kinzo was crouched on the ground as though kneeling before the portrait of Beatrice. At Nanjo's words, he slowly turned, still crouching. Oh. Kinzo's eyes had already been red with crying. When he saw me, he groaned with wonder. Beatrice! Beatrice! Had he even forgotten how to stand up? He crawled over to where I was, while calling out to me with the name of the woman he had loved long ago. I was too stunned to move. Kinzo grabbed the hem of my dress, gripped it tightly, and curled up and sobbed. Beatrice! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I knew how you felt, and yet I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Please. The words weren't directed at me. However, just standing here like this was all I needed to do. Kinzo's moment of atonement, the moment he had spent half of his life searching for, had finally come. A human's life is stained with sin, so humans seek forgiveness while they still live. However, in most cases, the person capable of granting such forgiveness is no longer on this earth. It was like that for Kinzo too. The one he sought no longer existed in this world. Instead, that forgiveness had been woven together by a miracle, and now Kinzo had received it. Oh! Beatrice! Beatrice! You need not forgive me! You need not say anything! I simply needed to apologize to you just once! Kinzo kept grasping the dress hem and sobbing. The sins of humans are not forgiven from without. Forgiveness is found through regret and repentance. I want to believe that some sin, some fault of his, has been forgiven thanks to the way I look. Kinzo's sobbing gradually ceased, and he slowly looked up at me and rose. He looked unsteady. Nanjo rushed forward to support him. So I see that you are alive. I'm glad. This time those words weren't directed through me, but at me. I hesitated, unsure how I should respond.
I beg your forgiveness for keeping this a secret from you all this time. No matter! I do not fault you, Genji, considering the sin I committed every single day until now has been necessary for my atonement. However, there can be no doubt that today's miracle is a true one. By her own power, without anyone's help, she saw the epitaph before anyone else. Well done, solving such a difficult epitaph.
Thanks.
Indeed, your voice resembles your mother. Even your face reminds me of that mother and daughter. There can be no doubt that Beatrice's blood flows through your veins.
Yes, the traces of the Lady of Ecuador in her youth are right there. Does my face look like someone else's?
Beatrice, please forgive me for keeping this a secret even from you. Your parents are Beatrice and the Master.
It's true. Until now, you've been raised as a child without parents. However, your true father is the Master, and your true mother is Beatrice. Is that, really?
Yes. You are truly a descendant of Beatrice.
Is such a strange fate really possible? I've dreamed about it. Dreamed about what it would be like to be the Golden Witch Beatrice, but that dream had been mine alone. I dreamed that if I solved the epitaph and carried out its ceremony, I would revive as the true Beatrice. So, is it okay to believe that since I've solved it, Beatrice has really revived? I truly carry Beatrice's blood?
Yes, there is no doubt of that whatsoever.
It must have been hard for you to live until this day without knowing a parent's affection. And yet look how wonderfully you've grown. So you all knew about me? Genji, Kumasawa, and even Nanja nodded wordlessly. Now that I think about it, there might have been lots of hints. I always felt as though there was something special about me. Genji, especially Kumasawa, always treated me very kindly. Then, does that mean this day is a promised day, which would eventually have come no matter what? I don't understand anything anymore. It's all a miracle from God. A promised fate has led me to this day.
Beatrice. No. Leo. That is the name I wanted to give you. It is your true name. Leon, I will now return to you everything that Beatrice gave me. I return to you the gold as well as everything of the Ushiramiya family which was created by it.
Kinzo stuck out a hand that looked like a rotting tree. On his finger was a ring with a one-winged eagle crest, the symbol of the Ushiramiya family head. He pulled it off, grasped it tightly, and held it out to me. I didn't know what to do. Slowly, as though they were being drawn forward, I held out my hands, palms up. After pressing his fist against my cupped hands, Kinzo slowly opened his hands and let the ring drop.
Leon, my child, all the ways your fate has been toyed with until today were caused by my sins. Please forgive me. You will now inherit my ring. You are the new Ushiramiya family head. All that gold belongs to you. I ask that you use it as you please and hope that it will be enough to heal some small parts of the pain that you have suffered. That trifling amount of gold may be nothing in comparison with the sin I committed. But even so, it should be enough to bring you some comfort.
Thank you.
Leo, I have one final request.
What is that?
Could you call me?
Sorry, what did you say?
Could you call me Father? I understand why you're not able to. I have not been a father to you in any way. Furthermore, you have been raised without knowing anything about a father. I realize it's not a name you can call me by, and I realize that I have no right to ask this of you. But even with that in mind, please, if I could just hear that, I would have no further regrets.
After being asked like that, could I have possibly refused? Even if I am his child, I truly cannot acknowledge him as my father, so it felt very strange to say it, and yet I decided that saying it was the right thing to do. Only God can truly forgive sins, but though it may be temporary, people can be saved by the forgiveness of others.
Yes.
Father. That awkward word made Kinzo laugh. Drops of silver fell from both his eyes. At that moment, the shadow that had covered his face was wiped away.
Thank you, Leon, my child, and Beatrice as well. Thank you for this last chance to ask for forgiveness. Of course, I don't believe that I have been forgiven by this alone. I shall atone for the rest as I burn in the fires of hell. I, Ushiromiya Kinzo, have no more regrets in this life! Not at all! No regrets or matters left unfinished!
Looking up to the heavens, Kinzo spread his arms wide as though facing an applauding audience, laughing at the top of his lungs. It was the final pleasure, known only by those who have been released of all regrets of this world. Kinzo's laugh weakened, and when it disappeared, he dropped to his knees, like a puppet with its strings cut, and slowly fell to the ground.
Master.
Dr. Nanjo.
Yes.
Though their master had fallen, they walked up to him slowly. They already knew. Kinzo's soul had already burned itself out. After checking Kinzo's pulse, Nanjo shook his head and stood back up.
It was a peaceful death. I don't think he had any regrets at all. It may be that the master died long before now. It was his only magic and his tenacity that kept him here so long. And he finally had a chance to apologize for Beatrice for everything and finish everything he had to do.
Please, rest in peace. I believe that you have redeemed yourself. Father, that was the one-night reunion between me and my father, and also our final farewell. This gold all belongs to you now. If you wish to exchange it for money, I can arrange for that.
I hear it's worth 20 billion yen. From here on, any of your dreams in this world can be granted with money. It must be tough to think of what to do with this much money when it suddenly comes your way.
There is nothing I desire among things the money can buy, so for the present I would like to leave this here. Of course I'm glad I have a lot of money. However, money can't heal the pain in my heart. I just want him to come back. As you wish, and it shall be left here. Also, take this key. What is this? It is a key to the underground VIP room. If you use this, you won't need to use that entrance contraption. She was the only one who knew the answer to the epitaph's riddle, and the only key to this place was now hers. At this point, she truly was the master of the golden VIP room. You are already the master of Rokkenjima. You have the right to know all this island's secrets.
We should talk about Kuwadorian too. That's the mansion that your mother lived in. I'm sure you heard rumors about it.
Kuwadorian.
There are two mansions on this island, one at either end. One is the mansion we all know well, and the other is a hidden mansion known as Kuwadorian. Below this island are the remains of a military base built during the war. The master used that to travel between the two ends of the island.
There is an underground path in the back of this room, and if you follow it, you will reach the basement of Kuwadorian on the other end of this island. That is a secret mansion, which only the master knew of. Of course, that mansion also now belongs to the new head.
It's also the mansion your mother lived in. It will probably be worth taking a trip over there sometime.
My mother. I've lived alone my whole life. The only person I ever felt like calling mother is Kumasawa, who always helped me out. So there's a mansion where a mother I've never met nor seen lived. Who exactly am I?
Ask any questions you wish. You now deserve to know everything.
Right now, I'm feeling very confused. I don't even know where I should start asking questions, but I'm sure I'll think of plenty of things to ask about. When I do, please tell me.
As you wish.
Also, being treated so respectfully like that is a bit uncomfortable. I'd be happier if you could talk to me the same way as you've always done.
If that is what you wish, then I will do so.
That's easier for me too. Well now, what will we do now, Genji? Kinzo is dead.
I will tell Kraus and Madame that he has passed away. Then we must tell them that Leon is the official successor to the headship. After all, from this point forward, you are the Ushiromiya family head.
Me as the head, that's... And isn't Kraus the successor?
The one who solves the epitaph's riddle is the successor. There exists a will specifying this much. The Master's final order was that you were to inherit everything.
But please wait! I appreciate the sentiment, but I can't do the job of being the successor, and I can't accept such a big responsibility. I think it would be better for Kraus to inherit that role.
Are you certain?
Today I have learned who I am. Everyone knows about their parents, but I didn't since the time of my birth, and here today I finally learned the truth. That alone is enough for me. If I suddenly became the Ushiromiya family head, how would Kraus react? How angry would Madame be? I don't want to become the head if it means making them feel like that. Today I learned who I am, who gave birth to me, how and when. These are all things I want to learn from them as time goes by. That alone is enough. I am Leon, and I'm the Golden Witch Beatrice. Knowing that is enough for me. I don't plan on calling myself the head. Kraus can take that job.
Is that your order as the Ushiromiya family head?
Yes.
As you wish, Master, and I shall make it so.
And please don't tell anyone about what happened tonight. I want to stay me. There's nothing I want to do with the Ushiromiya headship or the gold. I want to wait here on this island, as I have done in the past. I want everything to be exactly the same as it was. That's my only wish.
As you wish, Master. Everything that has happened tonight will not go beyond the present here. Kumasawa, Dr. Nanjo, that is the wish of the new head.
If that's what you want, I have no objections. Kinzo's will entrusted everything to you. If this is what you want to do, none of us will complain. You say exactly the same as it was, but do you really mean exactly the same, with no differences at all? Yes. We'll keep this a secret. This place and the gold will be sealed away. If I need money, I'll ask you about it then. That's enough for me.
As you wish. The device leading to this place and the key both belong to you, and all of us swear to keep the events of this night a secret. Kraus will be the successor, but in my heart, you will be the only true successor. As you have ordered, we'll behave the same as we always have, but please order us whenever it suits you. You are my only master.
Thank you very much. A vast mountain of gold in the ring of the Ushiromiya family head, the dress of the portrait Beatrice, and I became the true Beatrice the Golden Witch, right here in my very own golden land. If I think about it, not much has actually changed. After all, I've always been the Golden Witch. I just had a few more people acknowledge that. November 29th, the day I became a true witch. By the way, that is also her birthday, Beatrice's birthday, and it's also within that code, Balor's birthday and Beatrice's birthday. Anyway. Oh, I am one, yet many. I am the Golden Witch Beatrice, the true ruler of Rokkenjima, and the possessor of endless gold, and yet I am in no way complete. I await the return of the one person I love. I'm not gonna say how I feel about this just yet.
I'll save that. But I'm gonna tell you I'm not happy.
That is the end of my tale. Oh, is that all? But aren't the next 2 years pretty fun?
We don't need them. After all, we've heard the past games about your inner conflict and how you suffered. You don't need to say any more.
You mean the conflict of the furniture with incomplete souls?
There was a duel. The result had almost been decided. However, the year 1986 was incredibly merciless. I'll bet you cursed your fate.
Yes, if it had been 1 year sooner, or else 1 year later.
The duel would have been settled, though the way it got settled would have been different.
Silently, Claire hung her head. If only I had been given time, or else if I hadn't been given time to worry. I hate everything. Why did it have to be 1986? I decided to abandon control over everything. Abandon control? Like the ceremony in which I inherited everything from the previous head, I decided to abandon myself to the fate known as a miracle. It may be more accurate to say that I abandoned myself to the choice of the roulette. We could not even decide our own fate, so we let fate decide everything for us. Perhaps one of us will find what they seek, or perhaps all will be joined and released, or perhaps someone will put a stop to this folly. No matter which fate the roulette chose, I plan to obey its ruling. I will not resist fate. After all, whenever I had tried in the past, fate has always been heartless to me. Claire hung her head and let a single teardrop fall down. Humans will carelessly say that people possess infinite possibilities. However, the Endless Witch knows how limited those possibilities really are. So, out of her limited fate, she tried to create the infinite. By entrusting her fate to God, she tried to create the infinite. However, this did not mean that she was resigned to her fate. She spun the roulette of fate with an unshakable and certain will. A certain fate where absolutely no one could escape if the epitaph was not solved. She sealed off the island with it, herself included. October 4th and 5th, 1986 were sealed away by an absolute and certain will, and she abandoned herself to that short span of time and the one out of the many fates that would be chosen on that island. And now my confession is over. Is that enough to place my motive for the crime? If you still do not know, I will say no more. It's not as though anyone could understand my heart anyway. Yeah, there's no need to say anymore. Leo, after watching how I have wandered through a dead end of fate, do you see how great of a hope you are to me? I'm a different possible you. The happiness you live in makes me jealous, but even more overwhelmed with happiness. The future you represent was a possible one. Right now, that fact alone is my salvation. Please live with enough happiness for the both of us. I'm glad I got to meet you once. At the end, you have my thanks, Lady Berncastle. I'm just carrying out your funeral. There's no need to thank me. Well, it's about time to end this. It's about time to send the dead to the land of the dead. Yes, this is my funeral after all. It's time for me to go back to where I belong. Don't make that face, and please rejoice that you were not me. After all, I rejoice in that fact as well. I'll live life for the both of us. Thank you. Live in happiness, and someday find yourself a wonderful person. I pray that you live as a human, without awakening as a witch.
that you have a whole and single soul and love one person with all your strength. I hope that you'll live that sort of life. I will. Will, I thank you for being an observer. You aren't the one I truly wanted to understand me, but you have saved my heart. I understand you. I don't neglect the heart. Thank you. So now that I have a splendid observer who understands me, I want to entrust my final moments to you. Are you okay with it being me? Yes. For me, the important thing is whether the person understands me, not how well I know them. The one I wanted to understand didn't. A person I don't know did understand. There's nothing sad about it. On the contrary, I'm grateful for this miracle. The person was able to understand, even though he has no relation to me. You are a good observer, and the only one who has managed to understand me. That connection is strong enough. Understood. I offer my heart to you, nameless and wonderful observer. Leon, stand back.
Huh? What's going to happen?
In the mystery genre, there can be no death unless the detective performs the last rites. Will just stopping your heart be enough? When you mourn the dearly departed, do you just put their heart into the coffin? Got it. That which was born from Earth will return to Earth. I'll return all of you to the Earth. Earth to Earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, illusions to illusions, and dreams to dreams. Right. Then let us begin. This is my burial. Whenever you're ready. Let us start. This is almost like the end of my last game.
Light gathered at Will's back, and a sword materialized there. Slowly, he drew it out. Its pitch-black tip, which could neatly slice apart truth from fiction, swung once, leaving a black trail, and then again, leaving a white trail.
I'll cut the truth out from the fiction. Come.
Following Will's lead, a similar sword appeared in Claire's hand. Its tip glinted silver, the opposite of Will's.
First game, first twilight. 6 corpses in the gardening shed. Illusions to illusions. The corpse that cannot return to Earth returns to illusions.
Will's pitch-black slash cut across Claire's body at an angle. The blade passed through her like she was water, but its tip sent golden flower petals scattering.
First game, second twilight. 2 corpses are close in a closed room protected by a chain. Illusions to illusions. A chain of illusions can only trap illusions.
The razor-thin black blur sent golden flower petals gathering again.
First game, fourth twilight. The old heaven the closed room study, confined in a scorching furnace. Illusions to illusions. Let the man of illusions go to where he belongs. First game, fifth twilight. The last moment of the sacrificed boy with a stick in his chest. Illusions to illusions. The witch and the stake of illusions can pierce naught but illusions. First game, 6th, 7th, and 8th twilights. 3 corpses lying in the closed room of a singing girl. Illusions to illusions. Illusions are the blind girl's song. Illusion of a closed room. Well done. Yes, you really are splendid. That was a risky game from the very start. What if the guy really wanted to see that dead face anyway and just stepped inside? That's what it means to abandon oneself to fate. That's what your roulette is, isn't it? Let us continue. Second game, first twilight. The six with their stomachs split in the closed room chapel. Illusions to illusions. The gold truth locks the lock of illusions. Second game, second twilight. The two who are close cannot even be close as corpses. Illusions to illusions. Illusions who have fulfilled their role do not leave a corpse behind. Second game, fourth, fifth, and sixth twilights. In Natsui's closed room, none are left alive. Earth to earth. No one would dispute that a coffin is a closed room. Second game, seventh, eighth twilights. The two sliced to death by the red-eyed illusion. Earth to earth, illusions to illusions. No illusion can create a corpse. Every time the blade passed through Claire's body, golden flower petals flew everywhere. The petals covering her heart were being torn away bit by bit. The illusion of the witch was breaking down and becoming flower petals. Third game, first twilight. 6 corpses connected by the linked closed rooms. Illusions to illusions. In a closed room ring, the end and the beginning overlap. Third game, second twilight. The corpses of mother and child laid together in the rose garden. Earth to earth. No falsehoods in their final moments is told. Third game, fourth, fifth, and sixth twilights. 3 corpses lying in the mansion. Earth to earth. No falsehoods in their final moments is told. Third game, seventh and eighth twilights. The corpses of husband and wife lay exposed under the arbor. Earth to earth. The obvious culprit wields a mutable blade. Fourth game, first twilight. A massacring storm sweeps through the dining hall. Illusions to illusions. Tales woven by the gold truth return to illusions. Fourth game, second twilight. The 2 youths face a trial and pass away together. Illusions to illusions. Tales woven by the gold truth return to illusions. Fourth game, fourth, sixth. I messed up, I'm sorry. Fourth game. Fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth twilights. None of the runaways are left alive. Earth to earth, illusions to illusions. Silent corpses adorned by fiction. Fourth game, ninth twilight. And none shall be left alive. Earth to earth, illusions to illusions. When fiction is shut up inside a cat box, it becomes truth. Over and over again, Claire's body was sliced by the pitch-black sword. As proof, the chapel was now filled with golden flower petals, which danced around like gold snow. It's beautiful. Who wouldn't want their last moments to be like that? The gold snow was like confetti at the finale of a show. The curtains were finally falling on the stage that was her. Then, one final question. Sure. Claire slowly raised her hands. The sword she held became golden rose petals and melted away. She stood there, arms wide, waiting for the final strike. Who am I? Illusions to illusions. The promised reaper lowers the curtains on the tale regardless of the witch's will. The pitch-black blade that will swung high, cut down Claire's form. At the same time, she was blown away by a gust of wind. Her human form crumbled in an instant and became a storm of golden flower petals that was torn apart. After she was blown away, a golden heart remained in midair. But it too was swallowed by the torrent of wind and broke down to the flower petals. The gold torrent of wind swirled around the chapel. Then the swirled petals scattered out of existence and vanished. A few remaining petals danced around like snowflakes, and those final vestiges decorated the chapel beautifully. A beam of light lit the center of the stage. There stood Claire, whose tale had ended, and slowly, softly, she faced the audience and bowed. Applause spread throughout the room. The long, long tale that she had just finished telling was being given a massive applause. It went on and on, and on and on. The stage slowly sunk into the darkness of oblivion. Behind the darkness of the curtain, Claire continued to bow in front of the unending applause and disappeared. People are born with sin and live life to obtain forgiveness from someone, or perhaps they are born with riddles and live life searching for someone to solve them. Here, all of her riddles had been solved, leaving no lingering regrets behind. People are riddles. They want someone else to solve their riddle. They live life wanting someone to solve the riddle that they are, the most difficult riddle in the world. They want someone to look at the riddle that they are, and they want that person to solve it. For her, that wish had been granted. Her soul will wander no longer, sleep in endless peace in your catbox coffin. Though there had been so many golden flower petals floating about like a blizzard, not a single one remained. Everything had become dust, vanishing as though there had been nothing there in the first place, and all was silent once more. Come to think of it, even the sound of rain is gone. The rain must have stopped at some point. Meaning you was her salvation. I hope so. She cursed herself and her inescapable dead-end fate and gave up. Meeting you, a happy miracle in her eyes, saved her in a way that nothing else could. So don't make that face. That was a pretty tasteful ending for you. Allah only told me to carry out the funeral. Well, I pretty much call it a facilitator, you, and let you do everything. Thank you, Will. In Claire's place, I want to thank you. Thank you for cutting off all the lingering regrets of a different fate. I thought I'd see a bit more head clutching and panic from you. I understand now. I realize how happy my life has been. If fate had toyed with me, and if I was living in another world, I might have gotten stuck in the same dead end of fate. However, Thanks to an extremely improbable bit of good luck, I live in this world. I now know how much that means, how much that's worth.
What's up? Why the surprised look? I thought decent witches didn't exist, but I might have to change that theory. Don't worry, no need to change it. I only joined that kid's game to kill some time. And though I lost, I enjoyed playing. That kid died without folding up her game board. I just took charge of cleaning up, and thanks to her for letting me play, because it's the loser's duty. I was sure you'd be a lot crueler than this. Crueler? I thought this would be a cruel game that neglects the heart. Yes, it was a cruel game. Though she claimed that the game was fantasy, I brought you along and made it end as a mystery. The illusion of the witch has been spectacularly crushed, and my little bit of revenge is complete. This tale of intertwined love ends thanks to an absolute and certain willpower. Out of respect for that certain willpower, the witch's certainty made that kid a witch for just 2 days. Even within this limited span of 2 days, I've been able to enjoy an endless kaleidoscope. I won't be bestowing my favor, so no miracle will occur. However, even this ending is something that child wished for.
I wonder which truth actually lay at the end of this endless tale.
Who knows? Not being able to say that for sure is what makes it a cat box. When you open the box, you get a tale where no trace of the mansion remains, and no one except Ava survives. Now that Ava has died without saying anything, all the truth is inside the cat box. Endless possibilities, all kept within a box.
Now that I think about it, maybe the whole island where she lived and died was the Golden Land.
If you can call a cat box a golden land, that is. By the way, Balor has written up the most fun tale imaginable inside the cat box.
You mean that book in Beatrice's coffin?
That's right. It's the happiest possible tale for her, which she thought of himself.
It was a really fun, love-filled, happy tale. I also think that tale was the most fitting one to put in her coffin.
No, that's wrong.
Huh?
You heard Claire. You are her hope and her salvation. More than anything else, you living on in happiness will be her salvation.
Right.
Live happily. That's all you need to do to be that kid's miracle.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. You know, okay, I have to restart that part because a stupid car went by and I'm not sure if it was heard. But it's okay, I have to clear my nose anyway.
Live happily. That's all you need to do to be that kid's miracle.
Yes. I'll live happily enough for the both of us.
I'm surprised you found this kid. Didn't you have to search through about 200,000 of them in that vast sea? Such trivialities are all I'm capable of. And now the funeral is over. As promised, I've released the barrier. Once you leave, time will start moving again like normal. So you're done with us now. If I don't get back quickly, then I'll start scratching the curtains.
We weren't together long, but thanks for your help.
So long. Be happy, for the sake of hundreds and thousands of other yous.
When he left the chapel, a beautiful after-rain sky stretched out above him. That sky, which was a mix of rain clouds, gaps of sunlight, and the tint of twilight, had a beauty to it that couldn't be described in words. Will slowly descended the stone stairs, stepping through the puddles. Then he waved without looking back, and left the chapel behind. His form and footprints gradually faded away until there was no trace left.
Okay, time for me to disappear too. Goodbye, Leo.
I have to thank you as well. I believe I said some fairly inconsiderate things to you. You have my apologies.
You taught me something very important. What is it? No, it's nothing. It's been a century since anyone's thanked me, so I wasn't sure how to respond. Berncastle shrugged and floated up into the air. Then she looked up at the beautiful 7 colors of light shining through the stained glass, and spoke as though someone was looking down on her from there. Aurora, was that enough of an answer check for you? If you still don't get it, why not gather the other observer witches and have a tea party or something? Then you can listen to their theories. I'm mean, so I won't go any further than this. There are no witches who don't think. After all, witches who don't think either die or turn to seaweed. Yes, now you can look back and have a drink, while seeing how much of your theory was right. I'm tired of playing the part of the bad guy, and of being a Miko. You're done with me now. Bye, Leon. And bye to you too, observer witches. Berncastle burst and disappeared. A single golden flower petal glittered. Leon picked it up. It was the only trace of a miracle that remained in this chapel. At that time, cheery voices could suddenly be heard. It was the relatives. They came out of the waiting room one by one. So this is where you were, Leon. I was looking for you. Mom, my apologies. I was just thinking about something. Looks like the rain's finally stopped. Finally, some good weather. Everyone, let's return to the mansion. I've been told that Beatrice's funeral is over. Dad, where's the head? He'll be here in a sec. Today was pretty crazy, and playing along with Dad's little funeral show was a real pain. You shouldn't say that. It was a very important ceremony. That's right. I think it was very important for Father. I'm starving. Goda, I think you should cook something up for us. Yes, ma'am. I'll prepare some tea at once. Where is Leo? Lend me a hand. Our family head. There you are. As Kinzo came out after the others, Leo ran up to him. You did very well today. Beatrice's funeral is now complete. Yes, and I'm sure that Beatrice's soul was saved. How could you know that? I was with Beatrice until a second ago, and I saw her leave on her journey with no regrets. That's how I know. I guarantee it. I see. If you say it, then it must be so. The relatives left the chapel one by one. Leon left too, giving Kinzo a shoulder to lean on. A beam of sunlight peeked through the clouds, looking like a staircase leading up to heaven. That was the shortest episode ever. Now I'm going to put my thoughts before we go to the tea party, which we'll do tomorrow. I'm sorry. Oh, I hate that I messed up at the finale. Alright. We can't read that just yet. We'll read that tomorrow, but I have to say my thoughts. Okay! If you have any common sense, you know that apology and that whole thing with Kinzo was a farce. Okay? Like that is just like you really made your child dress up as a representation of your granddaughter and of your daughter and your wife. And Genji's like, "Oh yes, let's have your child live on the island. If anything, no one should be on Rokenjima. Screw Kinzo. Okay? This shit's all his fault. I hate him. I hate him. He's terrible, and so is Genji. What the hell? Like, way to go! And being an enabler of this bastard! Okay? I mean, I don't know. But that is so screwed up. Okay? Like, he's like, oh yeah. We set this up so that Kinzo can feel like he atoned. It wasn't even, it was like barely for like her sake. That was for Kinzo. That was like 90 to 80% or 95% for Kinzo alone. Okay? So that he could feel better. When he doesn't deserve it at all. Oh my god, she's so nice to him. And he doesn't deserve it. Okay? Like if you know what you know what happened with Kudor and Beatrice. He does not deserve it. He doesn't. Okay? What forgiveness? You mean your child role playing your dead wife and your daughter? What? No. No. Oh my god. That's so infuriating. And like think about it. Okay? Like Kumasawa, Genji, Nanjo, like the adult servants, the people that work alongside Kinzo, they're all his enablers. Okay? And like I know people who like they stick around and they just enable his shit. Like okay? I hate Kinzo. To me, this is his fault. Okay? It's like, oh yeah, sorry you were born without parents. It's like, oh yeah, sorry that your entire mentality is screwed up from the beginning of your life because you couldn't have a normal family life. Like even with like the implications, think about it. Like, what is implied through canon? Because the existence of the Shannon canon. Think about their physical differences. And with Beatrice, okay? In terms of their bodies. Okay? Like it's indirectly telling you that that something happened to her. Okay? And like, look at Leon. Okay? That something happened, and I'm not gonna say it yet, but think about the implications. It's so screwed up for her. I mean, okay. I mean, I wouldn't call Leon a her, but I'm talking about like Beto, Sayo, you know? But like, I personally believe that like a lot of people say that Leon is non-binary, so we're gonna go with them. So yeah. But like, think about the implications. Like for example, let's say that I could relate to this in the sense of like, if you're a girl, naturally you want to develop if you're a girl and you have self-esteem issues, and if you want to develop in a way that would make yourself pander and appeal to whoever you want to pander and appeal to. And obviously, she really wanted to pander to Battler, because you know what Battler wants? He talks about what kind of woman he likes. Okay? It's just so, and then it's like, and then another implication. She's related to Kinzo. She can't be with Battler. She can't have shit. Like, if you just think about it, it's just so screwed up. I don't want to try to explain that all,
Okay? But it's just because okay, you know the times when I was reading through episode 6 and I was like, and like other times I was like, oh my god, it's painful because I already know the truth because I already read it. Okay, so it's just like going back, reading Umineko with all this knowledge, doing that, have fun. Oh, but don't read it yet. Don't. It's just like the fact that I'll never get over this my entire life. I just love this story so much. And like even with how Leon like with okay, cuz like even then like I don't really like Leon said, like Leon's like, I don't know, I kind of had issues with my gender or whatever, and it's just like, well, yeah, I relate to that too in that sense, in a way, you know, like I think I get it, but you know, but like just seriously, just everything, and like if you want more context, you have to read the manga, but I mean there will be more context in the tea party as well. But like if you've been going through with me raw or whatever, like think about the implication. God, I just love her so much. I just love every just, I'm not done yet. Like everything that I have to say about we're not done yet. We have to finish Umineko. Right up until the end of episode 8. Cuz there's just no way. Okay, there's just no way that it'll be done that easily. Anyway, good night. Have to go. Tomorrow we read the tea party and the question marks.